today's webinar. I'm Chetan and I'm your host for the day. Today's session on high reinforced polyamide application in automotive will be covered by two speakers, Prasanna and Prakash. Prasanna heads the steer business in the US and Prakash heads our application development. We also have our global CEO Subodh Jindal on the panel today. Subodh will deliver an opening keynote address. You'll find a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screens. Please drop in and ask your questions and the panel will answer them at the end of today's webinar. Please also participate in the polling questions at every break. We'll have two such questions and we'll really appreciate if you can respond to both of them. Without further ado, let's now go to Subodh to deliver the opening keynote address.
Thanks, Chetan, and I'm very happy to welcome for this webinar. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Ever since Steer made its entry in the US market, our focus has been on providing the cutting-edge solutions to our customers in America like yours. We have an application development center at Uniontown in Ohio, and which is always welcoming our customers to come and experience our work with their unmet needs and pay areas. We like to say, Steer, we will love the problems and the challenges, and our scientists love to solve those and provide solutions. The compounding industry has to keep evolving to meet the growing needs of the mankind. And if you know that there's a continuous evolution which keeps our business like ours on our toes. Our scientists are focused on developing solutions and applications that are keep evolving in the world. And some of the questions continuously being asked are, how do we leave a lower footprint? How do we make more sustainable materials? How do we upcycle the used plastic? How do we make the lightweight for our cars? And how do we get ready for the electric era? Some of these. Over the years, Steer has filed 100+ patent applications across the spectrum, and that is at the level of equipment design, at the process level, and also at the product level. We are highly vertically integrated operations ranging from making our own metallurgy, which is used in EPZ or extruder processing zone, to making our own spare parts, to our in-house assembly of high-performance tune screw extruders, developing application across various segments like plastic, bioplastic, biomaterials, pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, foods, and other emerging and advanced materials. As excited as we are for the opportunity to serve our customers in US market, we are only looking to do more. Today's webinar on high reinforced polyamide application is part of the series of webinars that will bring to you our work on the Omega platform and using our fractional lobe elements in some of the complex applications from around the world. Steer America will like to follow these webinars up with inviting all of you to our visit at Uniontown ADC, where you can experience our first-hand work and we can help in developing new processes or applications. Please continue to join us in our endeavor to bring to you the latest from our labs and our quest to support you in your businesses. I believe that this webinars will be very useful, and with your participation, we can develop new applications and help you in your pain areas, if any. Over to you, Prasanna.
Thank you, Subodh. Good morning and good evening, everyone. I hope everybody are keeping safe and healthy during this pandemic situation. So I'll start with getting to know about Steer. So Steer is a young and dynamic company. We are just 27 years old, and our sole purpose has been to create advanced material platform technology that effectively transforms and functionalizes material in the field of plastic, pharmaceutical, food, nutraceutical, biomaterial, and biorefining. Our office is located in India, and head office is located in India, and the core people of Steer I'm pretty sure many of you know Dr. Babu Padmanabhan. He's the founder of Steer Group. He's also our Chief Knowledge Officer, and he has contributed 60 plus patents for this industry. Subodh Jindal is our new global CEO. He comes with enormous experience in many different companies, especially in material science, life science, market models, scale and complexities. And he's also a Six Sigma belt, black belt with strong process orientation. Nothing much to say about me. I'm Steer since 1997. I've handled business in various platform in Steer. Currently, from 2019, I've been heading Steer America business. To know about Steer, how we have evolved in 27 years is to be presence in globally. So we have global offices in Steer America, Steer China, Steer Japan, and of course our head office is in India. We have also developed satellite offices in Europe and many other regions as well. And we also have application development center. When we say application development center is we have lab facility in 4 different locations. One is India, of course, that's the headquarters. We have it in China, Japan, as well as in America. We have been serving to 49 countries so far. And we are, as Subodh said, we are 500 plus employees, and currently we are at 1 million elements sold globally, and we have 825 plus extruders installed globally. As Subodh said, we serve the industry polymer, pharmaceutical, powder coat, food, and bioplastic. Well, the reason for us to pick this topic for the webinar is there is a requirement for development of lightweight plastic, especially for the automotive industry. And we all know that automotive industry is going slow now, and many of our customers would be interested in developing new materials. So that's one of the reasons why we took this topic, so that people can utilize the new technology that is available in the market from Steer. I will not go through all of this. Everybody can see this. As per the market survey, the vehicles today are predominantly steel structure with some use of aluminum. The grades of steel range from mild 270 megapascal tensile strength to hard formed boron. Magnesium and polymer composites are been extensively explored to reduce the weight of the automobile. So there is a requirement from CAFE, that is Corporate Average Fuel Economy. The standards are becoming more stricter. So composites will continue to be a tool with which the industry will meet rising challenges. Just to give a brief about the evolution of the modern twin screw extruder, as you can see in the picture, the first twin screw extruder, which was developed in 1949, were having a very low torque, low RPM extruders, and since then the modern twin screw has developed in terms of higher screw speed, higher torque handling capability, large dry motors, greater throughput, and reduced residence time. So there has been a very drastic improvement in the extruder specification itself, but we do find limitation in the extruder processing zone. When I say extruder processing zone, that's where the material is being transformed to the desired product. So some of the limitation that we have mentioned here is feed limitation for very low bulk density material. There is also higher peak shear because of higher screw RPM. The peak shear also increases. and thus results in higher melt temperature as well. To know about the current element geometry, these are the Erdminger type geometry, which was introduced in 1950s, and it has been still used in a very large variety of applications. And due to its geometry itself, there is a lot of limitation in developing new products in terms of high energy consumption, higher peak shear, and due to this shear sensitive application uh, development is compromised. Some of the process challenges with standard elements, there might be many more. As a twin screw extruder manufacturer, we have run many trials, and we are listed on some of the key challenges. One is on the materials development is restricted because of processing limitation. Peak shear, which results in decomposition of flame retardant filler, breakage of glass fiber, and polymer degradation. Restriction of high screw speed operation. As I said, we have extruders which is being built to 1200 RPM, and I'm pretty sure most of the compounders are not utilizing the complete screw RPM because of the process limitation. When we run at higher screw operation, there is also unstable residence time distribution, which also results in lower mechanical properties. These are some of them which we have identified. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more, and we would like your input as well on this. Chetan, you would like to go ahead with the poll question?
Yes, Prasanna. Let's go now over to the first poll question. Please select your answers from the list of options that will get displayed on your screen anytime. You'll have about 30 seconds to answer the question. Here's the question. Are you experiencing any process challenges with your current technology? Please select from the options below, yes or no. Are you experiencing any process challenges with your current technology? We have 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's now see the results. So we have 38% of the participants saying that they do experience process challenges. We have about 63% of the participants saying they don't have the challenges as foreseen.
Thank you, Chetan.
Let's go back to Prasanna.
So we would like to introduce the new innovation from STEER, which we call it as a fractional geometry technology. How it has helped in how fractional geometry technology has helped in various applications, and one of the applications is the highly reinforced polymer in automotive. This is basic information. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this. Nylon 6 is a semi-crystalline polymer which has high chemical resistance, excellent mechanical properties, and moderate processability. Nylons are further improved by addition of glass fiber. Nylon has a low melt viscosity up to 30% to 50% glass fiber added without any processing difficulty. To make it more lighter, the addition of glass fiber to up to 70% would reduce the weight of the product. Reinforced composite requirements like rigidity, grip resistance, low coefficient of friction, and high heat deflection temperature have enabled in applications. Reinforced nylon plastic to replace metal in many applications. So this has been an industry's trend to replace steel into plastic composite. So the challenges that we have foreseen and from our feedback from our customers as well is higher loading of glass fiber is not possible with the existing processing zone. Complete coating or wetting of glass fiber with polymer to enhance interfacial bonding strength, maintaining the length of the glass fiber to achieve better mechanical properties. These are some of the process challenges while compounding nylon with glass fiber. I would like to introduce about the fractional geometry technology and the design of it. So we have developed various elements suitable for specific applications. For example, we have 3RSC, 3RKB, Medifrac, and MFE. These are some of the still advanced technology which enhance uniform melting and mixing when compared to standard kneading screws. It also has the ability to stretch, fold, and squeeze material in tightly controlled kneading cycles. We can also expect a very drastic reduction in the melt temperature as well using this geometry. Mechanism in terms of dynamic stirring element, glass fiber wettability is achieved by incorporating dynamic stirring elements and fractional mixing elements called FME in the twin screw extruder. Glass fiber wetting and distribution improves elongation mixing, leading to superior tensile strength, impact strength, and flexural properties of the nylon. DSC also promotes lower mobility restriction and better wetting on glass-filled glass fiber results in smaller interference in the entanglement of nylon plus glass fiber composite. So some of the key advantages of using fractional geometry technology. To go in depth about comparing bilobe technology with fractional lobe technology, we did a study on how the material moves inside a twin screw extruder. As you can see from the picture on the bilobe picture, you can see the material is getting conveyed from one lobe to the other lobe. And while the material is conveying, you can see portion of the material here is entrapped and it is not allowing the material to pass through here. So this much of material, fraction of the material is forced to go through the clearance between the elements, in between the elements. And you can see the material going through here. Just imagine this extruder is running at very high RPM and the shear rate developed for this fraction of material is very enormous and thus creates degradation problem. You can also see black spot and black specks in your end product. So these are the disadvantage of the bilobe geometry. So with the fractional lobe, this we can see the material getting conveyed from one lobe to another, and you see there is no material getting squeezed and coming in between the lobes. So this generates the fractional geometry. It generates uniform shear instead of peak shear, which helps in better dispersion or distributive mixing for many applications. So with FGT, we also have the platform called Omega platform, which is 1.71 DO by DI, which has the specification of higher torque. And also the clearance between the screw to screw is reduced. When I say clearance is between screw to screw as well as screw to barrel as well, which results in constant temperature because of better self-wiping action. And since it is a 1.7 DO by DI, throughput also can be increased for low bulk density and shear sensitive material. As I said, it has self-wiping action, which has better shear control. Deep groove, which I already mentioned as 1.71. So Omega with FGT is what we are focusing on this presentation. And as a case study, we did run trials in our application development center in India by Prakash Hadimani. We used Omega 25 mm extruder and The reason for us to do the trial was to compare the result between standard element geometry versus fractional geometry technology and see the results, mechanical results. And the study was done using 60% and 70% glass fiber in nylon 6. The results, we will share it with you in the subsequent slides. This is how the setup was done. Nylon 6 plus additive was fed from the intake zone, and glass fiber was fed through the side feed zone. And as I said, we did two trials. One is with 40% nylon, and the short glass fiber was 60%. Actually, three trials, and there is 35% and 65, 30, and 70. As I said, extruder use was a lab scale, omega 25, L by D of the extruder was 44, and the screw RPM was 800. And I'm just showing the picture of how the pellets look using standard geometry and FGT. And you can see in the standard, the wetting of the glass fiber is not good with the polymer matrix, whereas in FGT, we got a much better wetting with the polymer. And this is the strand comparison, for standard and FGT with various loading. So you can see at 70%, the standard, it has a very poor wettability of glass with the polymer matrix, whereas FGT provided a much better homogenized mixing as well as wetting. So the results and discussion, I would like Prakash Hadimani to take off from here. Prakash.
Thank you, Prasanna. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Okay, I'm just going to discuss about some of the highlights. Okay, what are the importance of using nylon 6 glass fiber, which applications, because currently the industry, they're running many of the automotive applications using nylon 6, nylon 6. It's a polyamide is a one family. There are many applications are running and there are peaks. Okay. And depending on the requirement in the automotive, okay. And if you are looking for a mechanical property or a thermal, how to increase, how to enhance. Okay, for example, I need to increase the stiffness. How I'll do the stiffness increase? You need to add some of the glass fiber or some other filling agents so that you can increase the stiffness. Okay, it depends on the application, the results and the properties will increase. Nylon 6, we know that it is a crystalline, semi-crystalline polymer and hygroscopic in nature. Okay. Currently, everybody is going for a 20 fill of glass fiber to 50%. Addition of glass fiber increases the increases the viscosity and it reduces the shrinkage factor. If we see here, the trial was conducted, the addition of glass fiber behind 50%. Okay, behind 50% addition of glass fiber is a challenging. Again, wetting of the glass fiber is a big challenge. Again, the nylon 6 has to completely coat onto the glass fiber. That is the biggest challenge. Okay, how to overcome? Okay, we have used the two technology. One is a standard technology, second is FGT technology. Okay, and now I'm going to discuss on the micro study, the morphology, what it will gives you. In the first left-hand side picture, you see that we have used standard technology, 60%, 65% of glass fiber filling, and there's an increase, another 5% goes to 70%. In 65%, you see the red line, okay? The glass fiber wetting is very poor, okay? And we observed the poor wetting of glass fiber into the nylon, again, nylon 6. And we observed the bundles in the glass fiber and the fractured surface also observed in standard technology. The right-hand side, you see the FGT technology. It uniformly distributed the glass fiber, and the glass are surrounded by the polymer matrix. How it happened? By using fractional geometry, the DSC stirring elements, and it wets the glass fiber completely. Okay, and then the fractional mixing elements to retain the fiber. Okay, so that it increases the mechanical property by using fractional geometry like DSC, dynamic stirring elements, and the fractional geometry technology. Next person. Okay, you see the magnified of SAM analysis here, and the left-hand side again, the standard technology. You see the fiber pull out. Okay, when the specimen experience, the tensile specimen experience the load, what happened? The fiber just comes out from the glass fiber. But in the FGT technology, you see that the fiber is completely coated and it retains in the polymer matrix so that it increases the mechanical property. Next slide. Prasanna. Okay. Here, mechanical property. You see the tensile strength. Okay. And the addition of glass fiber from 60, 65%, and 70%. Okay. And that is the requirement. 70% filling of the glass fiber is important for this application where you are going for a marine application. Okay. The red color shows the FGT technology and the standard technology shows the blue. There are a lot of difference between the variation. Okay. At 60% filling, the tensile strength is 150 to above. It's almost 170. And if you see that FGT technology showing more than 200 megapascal. Okay. And as the increase in the concentration of the glass fiber, and it's still going in the FGT technology, the tensile is increasing to 230 to 235 megapascal. But in the case of standard technology, what is happening? Because the wetting was poor, due to the poor wetting and the voids in the polymer matrix of the composite, the mechanical property of the tensile drops down drastically. You see the graph, it came down. And in the flexural strength, the same phenomena happen in the flexurals. But both standard FGT at 65% of filling of glass fiber, it's same. Okay, not much change. The moment addition of 70%, another 5%, it goes 70%. The standard technology of the flexural strength came down drastically. But in the case of FGT, it's increasing. That shows dynamic stirring elements. It holds the glass fiber. The wetting was happening, and the distribution helps of the fractional geometry technology like FME, we call it. And flexural modulus, again the same phenomena. It's up to 65% both on the same. But the moment when you are, see, FGT technology helps when you are going higher and higher loading and to get the mechanical property, it helps to increase the flexural modulus. But in the standard technology, it came down. Yeah, Prasanna. Okay, impact strength, the addition of glass fiber, okay, and the viscosity increases. Yes, obviously there is a tendency of reduce the impact strength, but up to 65, both are in a good condition so that at least you can get 15 megapascal. That is what the industry required, 15. If you are looking for still further, then you need to have modify your formulations to reach the level. But in the standard, drastically came down. It around 12 megapascal. The melt flow index reduced because the addition of glass fiber. When you addition there, the viscosity increases and melt flow rate drops down. When we are going for a process parameter, next person. Okay. This is very interesting because Prasanna has already explained what is peak shear. Okay, peak shear when the bilobe technology during the melt, the 2-3% of the melt, when the two lobes contact together, the melt here 2 to 3% trapped completely. That melt experience enormous shear, high shear that leads to increase your melt temperature that leads to the degradation of the polymer. That is what it's happening here. You see, but in the fractional geometry, because there is no peak shear, there is a uniform shear rate toward the system. In the fractional geometry technology, that's why we are able to maintain the melt temperature. You can see the reduce in the melt temperature in the fractional geometry, but in the standard technology, because of the peak shear, the melt temperature is going high and high, more than 250 degrees centigrade. But the meantime, power consumption is very important. In the fractional geometry, we are maintaining the lower carbon footprint so that you can reduce less power. The motor can utilize less power, okay, by using fractional geometry technology. These are the advantages so that the customer takeaway. These are the takeaway for the customers. One is a melt temperature. Second is a power consumption. So the lower power it consumes, and the later the same time you are going to get the highest mechanical property compared to the standard technology. These are the three takeaway for the customer. Next person. And finally, we are concluded. Okay, we have used the effect of standard and the fractional geometry technology using TSC by nylon 6 and glass fiber, filling up the concentration increase from 60 to 70%, 60, 65, and 70% weight percent. Okay, but FGT technology shows smoother strand surface compared to the standard. But in standard technology, the fibers came out from the surface. Okay, so that and that shows the wetting was very poor. Okay, in the standard technology, but in the FGT technology, so that the fractional FME fractional mixing element, so that it coated completely, so it holds the fiber and try to increase the mechanical property. And even both the cases of 70% filling is not an easy job. You have a lot of processing challenges by using 70% because we are running only 30% of the polymer matrix, and 70 is glass fiber. Okay, you see that how challenge to get the process of filling the composite of 70% glass fiber in nylon 6. And again, the same time, we get the most of the FGT and all the mechanical properties increase compared to the standard, and we get higher impact strength and higher tensile and flexural modulus in the using FGT technology. Again, we observed the strand breakages, frequent breakages at 70% filling in the standard technology. Okay, these are the applications. It's just only we display only hardly 10, 15, but by using FGT technology, we have done more than 200 applications wherever shear sensitive applications, like for example, pearl pigments. Okay, if you use a standard technology and the pearl pigments, normally you know that pearl has to retain the particle size. When the particle size retain, so that your distribution taken place and you can get that glossy effect. But if you use a standard, the standard technology, what happens? It breaks the particles and disperse. But in the pearl pigments, the yellow color, what you can see that it's a pearl pigment. Second is the again the pearl pigment, the effective pigments. Okay, to retain the particle size is the better. We have done more than flame retardant application, because flame retardant is the one application is very safe sensitive, because when you are running non-halogen flame retardant like magnesium hydroxide and ATH. ATH is very sensitive. If you're going for a standard technology and the temperatures increases and it liberates the water and foaming will take place. But in the FGT, this will not happen because of there's no peak shear. And we have this FGT and DSC, FME, and there are other type of elements so that it maintain the properties and there is no water liberation in the flame retardant. And meantime, you get higher throughput by using. There are many applications. If you are interested, please go through that and you can approach Mr. Prasanna Kumar and so that he is happy to discuss with you. And if you have any further queries, we can do ADC trials, even India, also in Indian town, both. We can support you for the many applications.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next poll question. Would you be interested in any of our applications processed with the FGT? You saw the list of applications that Prakash put up on the screen. Based on that, would you be interested in any of our applications processed with the FGT? We have about 30 seconds to answer this. In the meantime, if you have any questions with respect to the webinar, please drop into the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screens, and our panel will be happy to answer. So we have 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see the results. So 71% of you are saying yes, you would be interested, and about 29% of you are saying not sure. So let's go back to Prakash.
So I believe, Prakash, there are 2 questions from the audience so far. One is on, have you made any trials using carbon fiber or bio-based polyamides? Prakash, would you like to answer that?
Just a minute. Yeah, yeah. Can you repeat the question, please? Because
so if you go to the Q&A tab, you can open. There are 2 questions from the attendees. Yeah. One is on, have you made any trials using carbon fiber or bio-based polyamides?
Yes, we have done bio-based fibers, like you can see jute fibers, bamboo fibers, and also we have used wood powder and many other because 3 of them just now I'm explaining. It was the carrier resin is polypropylene and some other also we have done, and we demonstrated and we have sold many extruder on these. And for the carbon fiber, yes, we have done the carbon fiber with the peak.
That's good. Thanks.
Most welcome.
And once we do the product, do you have testing facilities?
Yes, we have a testing facility in India. We have a polymer diagnostic center. Okay. Can you go back to the ADC setup, Prasanna, so that I can? Yeah. This once we compounding and done and they give the solution to the customer, and finally, if customer is interested, we will help them on the characterization and analysis. Also can be done on the our facility.
So this is the application development center in India. As you can see, we have multiple extruders ranging from 20 diameter all the way up to 50 diameter. We have the capability of reducing or increasing the LOD of the machine. The maximum we can go and our lab machine is up to 60 LOD for certain application which requires a longer residence time. We have the capability of doing strand pelletizing as well as underwater pelletizer. This is Steer America Application Development Center. Currently, we are in the process of upgrading our twin screw extruder. We had a 40 mm extruder for 15 years, and we would like to upgrade it to a high torque machine. So this will be the application development center will be up and running probably by June, July of this year. We also have strand pelletizing capability. We have multiple Brabender feeders for feeding different formulation. We also have a 20 mm lab extruder for if the batch size is very small, we can run it on the 20 mm lab extruder as well. This is Steer Japan Application Development Center. They also have multiple lines and all equipped with different upstream and downstream capabilities. Steer China is about to start very soon, and probably next webinar we will show that as well. So if there are any questions from this presentation, we would like to hear from you.
Thank you, Prasanna and Prakash. On behalf of Steer, we thank all of you for participating in today's webinar. There are a few additional questions that have come. Let's see what the first question is. This question is for Prakash. What is the liner MOC that will be used in this application?
Yeah, we have a foundry in India. Okay, we have a capable of metallurgy for this particular liner MOC. For but when you are going for 75% of glass fiber, okay, there are many choices. Okay, when if they are interested, we will discuss one-to-one with the customer.
Fair enough. There's another question.
Chetan, I would just like to add, as we said that we have our own foundry, we make our own steel. We have a full-fledged metallurgist team constantly innovating new material catered for specific application, whether it is very high abrasive material or corrosive material. Our team is ready to jump into it and come up with the proper solution. Yes, of course, for glass field application, abrasive varies more, and we do offer very high content of vanadium and carbon in our metallurgy, which can enhance the abrasive resistance.
Thank you, Prasanna. We have one more question. What is the purpose of using glass fiber?
Yeah, when you addition of glass fiber, it enhance the property. Because for example, when you take any of the polymers, just virgin polymers, okay, it will not give you the stiffness, the required property. Addition of glass fiber increases the mechanical strength, mechanical stiffness, for example, automotive or in the car or in the marine applications where you are going for, and aerospace and transportation. Because where you are going for transportation, you need to have a high loading bearing capacity. Okay, they when you add a glass fiber, it will give you that amount of strength to the product.
Any other questions from the participant?
Yes, there's one more question. How different is the throughput using FGD processing?
Yeah, using see currently we are targeting on the mechanical property. So comparison between the standard versus FGT, yes. When you are using Omega series, using FGT technology, okay, compared to the standard technology like 1.55, if you compare, the 1.71 give you 20% higher throughput compared to the standard technology.
Sure. Prasanna, over to you for the concluding remarks.
All right. I would like to thank everyone for participating and taking time to attend this webinar. And this is our first webinar, and we want to showcase the proven application to all of you in upcoming webinar series. It would be really helpful for us to understand your requirements so that we can tailor make webinars especially suitable for your application. We are here to help you, and we need feedback from you for us to come up with the right platform which will be useful for you. Again, thank you so much for everyone. Subodh, Chetan, Prakash, from our end, we'd like to thank you, and we'll continue engaging with all of you frequently.
Thank you, Prasanna.